Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another segment of WKCTC Live. My name is Mary Beth from the Marketing Office at WKCTC, and I will be your host today for this Tech Thursday. For today's topic, we're discussing a variety of technology that students will need when attending WKCTC this fall. So if you're a current student, a prospective student, or a family member who has questions, we would love to see your comments in the live chat. Speaking of comments in the live chat, if you ask a question in today's live video, you could win a $50 gift card. We will be announcing a winner at the end of the segment, so get your questions in. This is going to be a great opportunity for you guys to ask your questions. Okay, so my guests today are going to be Brittany Cantor, Kate Sin, and Tammy Thompson. Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so I do want to remind our viewers that we are live. This is not pre-recorded, and you can start typing in your questions now. So I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves, and Brittany, I'm going to start with you.
Hi, I'm Brittany Cantor. I'm the Admissions and Communications Specialist for WKCTC.
Okay, Kate.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Kate Sin. I'm the Director of Online Learning at West Kentucky Community and Technical College.
Thanks, Kate. And Tammy.
Sorry about that. My dog started barking as soon as it was time to introduce ourselves. So my name is Tammy Thompson. I work in the marketing office at the college, and I am the public relations coordinator.
Okay. Well, thank you to all my guests. I'm going to let a couple of you go away, and I'm going to be talking to Brittany here at the beginning. Brittany, we're going to start by talking about setting up student user accounts. So I guess to get us started, Brittany, why should a student set up their user account?
So students, it's really important to set up your user account. You're setting up your user account gives you your username and your password for three really important areas that you're going to need as a student. You're going to need that for your student self-service, so you can view grades, order transcripts, and we'll get into a little bit of more of what you can do in student self-service later. The KCTCS email, so you definitely need to check your email, and also Blackboard. So if you have any classes that are online or are hybrid classes, you'll have to have that username and password to be able to log on for that online content.
Great. Awesome. So if a student were to have problems setting up their user account, who should they contact?
So if they have problems when setting up their user account center, we have a service center, and they're available 24/7. They can definitely reach out to 855-469-5282. They can also reach out to us here in admissions at 270-534-3435. But they will do an identity verification and then be able to give you your ID number or also help you get your password and everything set up.
Okay. So speaking of passwords, do your passwords expire? And if they do, how often?
They actually do not. So I believe it was last year that changed for us where they do not expire. They do have some requirements, though. They have to be 12 characters in length. You can't use anything like WKCTC or KCTCS, and also no personally identifiable information from yourself that we have on file with the campus. And we also ask you, don't share your password with anyone. It's super important that you keep that private because so much information, so much of your personal information is accessible with that password and username. So keeping that password, quiet it's a good thing. It is case sensitive. The password is case sensitive, and you can make it a phrase. So you can have spaces in your password to make it easier for you to remember. Okay. But you can only use it once. So once you use that phrase, you can never reuse it again. So it's super important to keep up with that one.
Cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you were able to use spaces.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. So if we have a current student who wants to know more about the website, how to navigate the website and where to go for help, how would you help that student and what would you tell that student?
Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead and share my screen. We can bring that up here. Awesome. Okay. So the first place you want to go when you're a new student or even a current student, really focus on this current student's part of the webpage. That's really going to be your home now. That's where everything you need is going to be. So as you can tell, we've got a lot of news up here, a little bit of facts about the hybrid classes and everything. And then down here, that's where you're going to go to do your user account center. So that we just talked about setting up, you'll want to go into there. And then MyPath, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. That's your central sign-in hub for everything. It's really cool. It keeps everything in one place and organized so students aren't too overwhelmed with where to go for things. They don't have 10 different places to go. They can go directly to MyPath and it'll take them wherever they need to go. The next one is the KCTCS Student Service Center. That just has live chat and everything that you can talk with a representative and get help if you need it. And also library, Blackboard, bookstore is also on here. And student support services and student life. So I want to touch on MyPath real quick. I just said that MyPath was the central sign-in hub for students. This is sort of what yours will look like. Everyone's is different. So like mine has some employee things that yours may not have as a student. And where it says PeopleSoft Campus Solutions, it will probably say student self-service for you. But you can, once you're in MyPath, you can access Blackboard, you can access your email, your student self-service, a number of things. So in following in line here, we'll go ahead and look at Blackboard. So to access Blackboard, once you're in MyPath, you just click Blackboard, and it is going to take you right into Blackboard. Okay.
Cool.
So I'm going to let Kate take over from here.
Okay. Actually, Brittany, before we go over to Kate, I'm going to ask Tom, kind of in the background there. Tom, do we have any questions from the chat?
We actually do. Some of them are, I think we'll go over later, but there are some that the folks that are asking may not be able to stay the whole stream. So is it okay if I go ahead and answer those? First one, since Brittany's talking about Blackboard, is what is it?
Okay, that's a good one. So Blackboard is the platform that we use for our courses. That's how we deliver that content to you. And you can interact with other students in your class. You can interact with your instructor, complete assignments. You'll be able to see grades posted, that kind of thing. So that's what we call that. That's your content distribution.
Okay, well, we have a couple other Blackboard questions that I think we can address at this point. Would we be able to, can I use it on an iPad?
So you can use Blackboard on an iPad. We don't recommend, if you're trying to submit assignments or anything like that, that you use it for that purpose, just because we know sometimes that glitches. But if you're just viewing a course, it should be okay as long as it's not too rigorous of what the items you're looking at. But yes, no, definitely if you're doing something like a virtual meeting or submitting assignments, I would use a computer for that, a laptop or a desktop.
Okay. And I know that Kate is going to get into some kind of more in-depth questions about hybrid classes and what types of computers are going to be necessary. So if you'll hold on just a few more minutes, we're going to get to Kate with those questions.
Okay, there is one other question that may be kind of relatable that I think Kate may be able to address. It's regarding ebooks, I believe. I have a tablet that can't use my tablet for McGraw-Hill Smart Books, and I can buy the book and read it. Will I be out about, but can't use the interactive features? What do we do?
I'm going to bring Kate into the stream.
Thank you. We've touched on a couple of the kind of challenges that a lot of students have faced. When it comes to fully being able to take advantage of all of the options within Blackboard and some of those publisher materials. Certain things just don't work very well. One of the things that was mentioned was an iPad or a tablet. Since those don't have the same robust operating system, sorry, my CIT came out there, it's not quite as powerful of machine. It's not able to support everything. But in order to check your email, to check for assignments, and in some cases, participate in those meetings, an iPad or a tablet will work. Just not for everything within the course. You can kind of get in the door, but not complete everything. That's one of the drawbacks.
All righty, here's one that we may not address today, but since they need to know, we'll see. I think there's some experts here who will know the answer. Where do I get a parking pass?
So you can get a parking pass in the business office. We are open. However, I do recommend that you call ahead of time just in case they are doing appointments, because I know this time of year they are particularly slammed. So they're super busy. And if you could make an appointment, that would be amazing. And I think we could get you the business office phone number in the chat.
Yeah, we've got some people working the chat there in the background. So if some of you guys wouldn't mind looking up that business office phone number and putting that in the chat, that would be great. Okay, Tom, do we have any more questions from the chat at this point?
We do, not necessarily tech related, but still important questions. For those of us who can't wear face masks but have hybrid classes, can we go completely online?
Okay, I'm ready for that one. Okay, two different options. For many of our classes, we do have online equivalent classes or classes, different sections that are available online. But we also know that there are students that have documented medical conditions where they can't wear the masks. I want to encourage you to go ahead and contact Accessibility Services. Actually, go ahead and I'll give you a name, Octavia Lawrence. Go ahead and contact her about filling out the paperwork, because there are alternatives. Not all of our classes have an online equivalency. So in order to take the class, you may need to come and with a shield or some other accommodation. So we have online classes, and we also are ready to address those students that can't, because of a documented medical condition, can't wear the mask.
All righty, there we go. Here's another question, another Blackboard question. It may not be one that we address in our program today, so we'll address it here. Is there a spot on Blackboard where you can access the library and other resources that the college offers?
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And you'll see that when you first go into Blackboard, excuse me, on the institution page, there is an option right there. Let me scroll up a little bit for e-library. Also within our courses are links to our particular library. Over the summer, actually since March, our library has been working very hard to have remote support. They even have a Ask the Library feature. So either through the institution page on Blackboard or within the course or from the West Kentucky homepage, being able to go in and find library material. So we're ready for you.
All right. Here's another question about hybrid classes, Kate.
Okay.
Registered classes every day, but my schedule says I'm in class on Wednesday and Thursday. What does that mean? I am in hybrid. I think it means, am I in hybrid classes?
Okay. As you take a look at your schedule, the printed schedule that you received, it may look a little different. If on your printed schedule, it is a single day, that is the day that you come all the time. If it lists 2 separate days, it's possible that it is hybrid and you are only going one of those 2 days. Early in July, you should have received an email explaining, kind of giving a basic overview of which days you need to come. But at the beginning of next week, you'll be getting an email from each one of your instructors explaining the first day that you need to come to class and the exact location. So if your printed schedule just lists those 2 individual days, you can assume that those are the days that you need to come for those classes.
All right, another quick question. I need to purchase a webcam for my online classes.
Within the syllabus for the course, it will let you know whether you need a webcam or not. If you need to make a decision right now, before you see that syllabus, I would go ahead and purchase a webcam. One of the things that we're going to have available within all of our classes this spring is, not this spring, this fall, is remote proctoring, which will allow you to take some of your exams, even if it's an in-person class, take some of those exams from home, and that will likely require a webcam.
All right. Related, do I have to have a laptop or is my desktop okay?
Oh, desktops, laptops, wonderful. Students only have difficulty when it comes to trying to take a class just using their phone or a tablet. So desktop, laptop, you're in great shape.
All right. Let me get back here and see what else we have. How can I register for a class and know if it's online or an on-demand course? And I think there's a third option.
Okay, let's see. Okay, can I register a class and know if it is, okay, when you register for a course, we have in-person, hybrid, online, and then within online, we have 2 separate formats, one which is Learn by Term and one that is Learn on Demand. And I think that's what Lynn is asking about. With a Learn on Demand class, that is a class with more flexibility. It allows you to work at your own pace through the individual modules. Everything needs to be done by the end of the semester, but you don't have weekly due dates. One of the ways that you can tell the difference, and this is getting into the weeds, but if the section number has a V in it, but probably the best way to know is when you are registering for that class, talk to your advisor if that's a concern of yours.
Thank you, Kate. When do we need to get our books?
Okay. You are able to figure out which books you need by going to the bookstore link. And if someone could put, oh, there we go. Someone already put that in there for us. And based upon your class and your which section of the class, you will be able to see which textbooks you need. Because of social distancing, we are strongly encouraging students to go ahead and order your books and have them shipped to you. So in answer to the question of when should I get them, I'd go ahead and order them now. It is possible to go ahead and charge your books to your financial aid.
All right. Another question about the bookstore. There were some books that said they had digital copies on Blackboard. Maybe you understand what that means, Kate. I'm sure you do.
Oh, I do. Okay, digital copies on Blackboard. In order to make it easiest for you to have access to the course materials and also some additional activities, a lot of textbooks are actually integrated or put into the Blackboard course itself. So you do not need to purchase a textbook. It has already been added into Blackboard, and the cost of those materials have been added into your tuition bill.
All right. Another book question in Blackboard. There's a section for textbooks online in Blackboard. Are hard books needed for the class if they're online already? I mean, hard copy. And where do you find them in Blackboard?
Okay, so let me, have to excuse me, dual monitors here. Okay, are hard books needed for a class if it's online? We know that a lot of students still like the paper books. And so for some of our electronic textbooks, we have lower cost print versions available. Those are not required, but they are available to you. And then in terms of where do you find the textbook, let me go ahead and go into one of my classes here. These are a couple of different classes that I have. So within this class, and I'm going to tell you it's a little old, you would find the textbook under course content, and there would be a link to the textbook itself. Okay. With other courses, I'll go into one of my other classes. Whoops, this class was over, so I can't get in there. It may be linked directly to a particular chapter. So it will be within the course itself by a link.
All right. Oh, sorry about that. That looks kind of strange. There, that's better.
All right.
Will exams be in person or on campus? Will I ever have to come on campus during the course of the semester?
Okay. For this semester, since we don't know what's ahead, all proctored exams are required to be available in a remote format. So you would not need to come to campus for a proctored exam this fall. The online proctoring will probably continue past that, but I wanted to be very careful. In terms of will I ever need to come to campus in the course of the semester, online classes are designed such that you should never have to come to campus, but we do have open labs if your computer breaks down or is wonky. We have online and in-person tutoring. We have library services available in person and online. So you don't have to come online, but if you're an online only student, you're also welcome to come to campus for some of these wraparound services.
All right. I think Brittany addressed this question earlier, but we may have some latecomers onto the stream. Who do I contact to get my email so that I can access Blackboard?
So you will actually have to set that up. We don't have it in the background for you as staff to be able to give that to you until you have generated it using the user account center. So you'll go to the website and go under current students, and you'll need your student ID number, your date of birth, and we need to know that you have an active email on file in order to set everything up. So if you have problems with any of those pieces of information, give our service center a call anytime. They're open 24/7. They'll do what they call an identity verification with you, and then they'll be able to assist you with getting that user account set up.
All righty. Will they release the syllabus early due to the fact we need more time to get materials?
Okay. Faculty members are currently working on their syllabi, but that one piece in terms of getting your textbook materials, feel free to go ahead and reach out to your faculty members now. And as I pointed out on the bookstore, as long as you know the course number and the section, you would be able to know what materials that you would need. That's one of the great things. Faculty members are required to list at least the textbook materials.
All right,
Right.
next bookstore question. Sorry, Brittany, go ahead.
No, I was just saying we'll be going into the bookstore and showing you all how to online order here in just a little bit too. So stick around.
And you may be addressing that in a little bit. Some of the books are lower cost. Do we need to go to the bookstore?
Okay.
Okay, let's see what else we got. I think this is a comment. Sometimes I don't know, book manufacturer sells them besides Amazon. I don't know if anybody has a comment to that or not, but that's just the ones we got.
Okay. Students are welcome to purchase their textbooks from any location. The bookstore is the only place that you can charge using your financial aid. That's one of the reasons why we talk about checking with the bookstore. But she's right, you can go in and find out the information and then look around.
Right. What about Connect subscriptions? Do you have to subscribe for each separate class or just one if more than one class has it?
Okay. When you have the Connect subscription, that's actually a little bit like having a door into the publisher materials. So while it may be a single subscription to Connect has math books, it has business books, it even has some computer science books in it. So you do have to purchase, you're actually purchasing the textbook, and Connect is how you get into it. A little like how Blackboard is, how our courses are arranged.
All right. How do you get a student ID?
So I'll take this one. She also asked down below that just clarified that she needed the actual student ID card. Yes, you do want to get a student ID card. You're going to need those if you plan on using library resources, or I've even had mine out in the community and had to show it for like discounts and things. So definitely get that. How you would go about getting it, the business office does those. And of course, we know they're in a high volume time right now with the limitations of having only a certain amount of people be on campus or in the building or in that area. I just recommend that you give them a call and find out when would be the best time. They may make you an appointment to come in, or they may just say, come right on in. We don't have anybody in today. So give them a call. We'll get the number in the chat for you, but give them a call before you come. Okay.
And since a number of the questions have surrounded the bookstore, I wanted to point out that I misspoke. Octavia Lawrence has pointed out that financial aid charges for books actually don't begin until tomorrow.
Right.
So you may want to wait just a little bit, but then jump in this weekend and start ordering those books. Thank you, Octavia.
All right, the next question has to do with financial aid as well. Is there a place where I can pay my tuition using my financial aid? Where I can go to pay my tuition?
Your financial aid, if it is showing under estimated aid on your student self-service account, that will be automatically applied towards your balance, so long as, you know, we've confirmed attendance on your classes and all of that. That all has to be confirmed first. That's usually the reason for the delay in refunding any excess amount you may get. But it will take care of the balance, and then the excess will be refunded to you if you have any left over.
All righty. Can we still go to the bookstore to get supplies other than our books?
I'll take that one. You certainly can. There is a limit, a capacity limit. So expect a little bit of a delay in your wait times. Because I think they're limited to 20 people in the bookstore at a time. And we all know that's quite a bit for the population we have coming in to get books this time of year. So you can still go in. They have split up their shopping days, where I believe the first half of the alphabet is on Mondays and Tuesdays, and the last half is Wednesdays and Thursdays, and we'll cover that a little bit more when we talk about the bookstore and everything and ordering online. But yes, you can still go in, and if you're in a nursing program, they do recommend that you contact them directly or come in and get your kits, because they don't want anything to get messed up with your kit and shipping.
All right, thanks everybody. That seems to be all the questions that we have at the moment in the chat room. So Mary Beth, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Tom, and I'm sure we'll come back to you in just a little bit. So Brittany, I'm going to let you go for a minute as well. You can take a little bit of a break. I've got a few questions here coming up for Kate. So Kate, we've been talking a lot about hybrid classes. So if somebody's not familiar with that term, what is a hybrid class?
I like to describe hybrid classes as the best of both worlds. It's a case where you have the flexibility associated with an online class. You have materials, assessments, different items available where you can look at them on your schedule. So you have an online half, and then you also have the benefit of in-person instructor, and that in-person instruction, being able to work with someone within the classes. So in many ways, it's the best of both worlds and a great way to transition into online classes.
Okay, thanks, Kate. So is there a reason why someone's classes may not be showing online?
Yes, as we take a look at student Kate's interface here, you'll see that some classes are private. That means that the instructor hasn't opened those classes yet. Also, a few minutes ago, we talked about Learn on Demand classes. Those classes would not appear until the day that the course began. For each one of your classes this semester, there will be a listing. Even if it's a 100% in-person class, it will have a Blackboard shell.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I don't know why I keep doing this there. How's that? A couple of quick questions in the chat rooms. This is about refund. I was trying to select my preferences to get a refund, but there's difficulty. How do you sign up for the bank mobile option? Anybody?
Tammy, you're on mute.
I knew I was going to do that. We actually have someone in the chat who could probably answer that question. So I'll be looking in the chat for possible answers about that, or who you can contact. Kara Burnham from the Financial Aid Office is in the chat, and she can help answer that question.
All right. And this is maybe a similar question, who to contact about those refund preferences.
Yes, watch the chat. If it's not from Kara, we will answer that from our WKCTC account, but we will get those answers in there to you.
All right. That's it for the time being in the chat.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, Kate, so back to you. So
Okay.
If somebody is having problems with a class, who should they contact?
Okay. Your first contact should probably be your instructor. Your instructor is most familiar with any published materials in their courses themselves. If you continue to have problems, or you're even having trouble getting in touch with your instructor, you can reach out to Online Learning. We would be glad to help you out. I will, within the chat, once we get back to Brittany, I will add our email address where you can reach out to me and Lauren Harper, and we would be glad to help you out.
Great. So the next few questions that I have are more on the technical side. I know we've talked a little bit about, you don't want to have a mobile phone or a tablet for an online class. You definitely want to have the computer. So are there different sorts of computers that you need, and is one better than the other? So what type of computer would somebody need for an online class?
Okay. Instead of giving a whole lot of specifications in terms of the computer, I'm going to show you on my screen. On the West Kentucky homepage, if you scroll down, We have information on hybrid and online classes, frequently asked questions. And one of the questions, let me go ahead and increase the size of my screen here, is what kind of computer do I need? And we have a list that includes recommended amount of RAM, size of hard drive, having a network card, webcam, speakers. So we have it broken down in terms of if you are purchasing a new computer. These are the things that we recommend. But we know that many of us already have computers. And so if you already have a personal computer, you can check to see if it's powerful enough. For example, a machine from 2 years ago that has Windows 8 and 4 gigabytes of RAM will work perfectly. Should be able to complete all of your classes on that. As mentioned before, tablets, phones, iPads are not the best bet. But if you already have an Apple Mac system, it needs to have at least these specifications, including it can support an operating system of 10.11 or higher, and that same network card. So instead of putting all of this in the chat, I would encourage you to go to the hybrid online classes FAQ, and then what kind of computer do I need?
Great. That's a really good resource, Kate. And does that page also have information about what type of internet speed is needed, or maybe what type of browser is recommended?
Okay. I'm not sure that it lists which browser, but it does talk about what speed of internet would they need. So the minimum recommendation was 25 megagigs. Okay, slower speeds will result in slower performance. And so when you're talking about your internet service provider and kind of measuring those speeds, remember that it's always based upon the best effort. So that's the recommended internet speed. And we also know that throughout the day, it can peak and drop. So what we recommend for all of our faculty is to record any lectures, any live events, such that a student would be able to download it later.
All right. I have a quick question online about signing up for classes. I have a friend who wants to sign up for school and classes. Can she come in person or do it online?
Okay. Very excited about the idea of wanting to come. I'm going to ask Octavia to put in the link in order to contact advising to go ahead and set up potentially an in-person or a virtual advising session. One of the first steps, if she wants to sign up for classes, is make sure that she has applied for classes. And you can do that from the West Kentucky homepage.
All right, that's all we have in the chat right now.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom. So, Kate, I know that people are curious about, again, what types of computers they need. So maybe they need to come to campus, like you said earlier, if their computer were to break down. Maybe they need to come to campus to use a computer lab or the library. Do they also need to make an appointment to come on campus to use a computer lab, like they need to make an appointment to come to the advising center?
Okay. Starting August 17th, campus is going to be open. And so our open computer labs within the Grisham Computer Lab, which is in the Emerging Technology Center, and within the library, which is in the Matheson Learning Resource Center, will be open. So you do not need to make an appointment at this time. We will be enforcing social distancing such that if these open labs reach capacity, which is somewhere around 11 to 18, we may limit the amount of time that students can work on a computer, but no appointment necessary.
That's great. Okay, so I do want to remind everybody that if you do ask a question today, you are going to be entered into a drawing for a $50 gift card. We will be drawing for that gift card at the end of this segment, which will likely be around noon, maybe a few minutes after. But be sure to ask your questions. We will do our best to get them answered right here live for you. And you definitely want to get your name into the drawing for that gift card.
And speaking of questions, should I get my student ID? Let me add Brittany.
You can get your ID at any time. Yeah, we don't have a specific time frame for that. You can get it now, but yeah, you can get it even after classes start. So there's no deadline there on that.
All right. I think we may have addressed this, but may not have been clear to everybody. Are we able to access the book that is included in class while also accessing Blackboard? So a technology kind of question.
And I always hate giving these kind of answers. It depends. In some cases, the book will actually appear within Blackboard itself. In other cases, it may open up into a new browser window. So depending upon, depending upon your machine, you may have to switch back and forth, or you may be able to view both at the same time.
All right. That's all in the for the questions right now.
Okay. So Kate, I'm going to give you a little bit of a break right now, and I'm going to transition back over to Brittany, and we're going to talk a little bit about student email. So Brittany, does a student need to purchase Microsoft Office?
No, not at all, actually. So as a student of WKCTC, you are given both the Microsoft 365 via cloud, and you also have up to 5 downloads. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get you into MyPath so we can get you an email here. Okay, so again, we're going right back to MyPath. You access it under the current students portion of the WKCTC webpage. And once you're in MyPath, you're just going to go down to your email and click on it. So a couple of things about email I want to cover real quick. It's really important that you always check your email. And don't forget to check your junk email box too, because sometimes things that come through just get filtered in right into that junk email. So we always tell everybody, check your inbox, but check your junk mail as well. Couple of things also, you as a student, you are automatically put into what we call Starfish. Starfish is a software that our faculty members use to basically help students when they need help, or give you what they call kudos. So I want to show you, you may get this semester, you may come across an email that looks similar to this. And it's going to say, hey, congratulations. You know, it's basically giving you kudos because you're doing a great job in your class. And you'll see it comes from Starfish Solutions. But so expect something like that. Or you may also get referrals. So they would look something like this. And it just may mean, you know, maybe you didn't do as well on your last test as, you know, your instructor really wanted you to. So they're going to say, you know, I want to do a tutoring referral for you, you know, just to get you some help on that one section of the class that, you know, you did really well on everywhere else. Just let's get you some help on that one section. So you may have someone from the tutoring center reach out to you and say, hey, you know, we got a tutoring referral for you. Are you interested in coming in? And, you know, how can we help you? So that's something you'll get. And you also get daily digest through your email. So that's how you get announcements, campus announcements and updates, invitations to events. And a lot of your deadlines are published there too. So it's really important that you check your KCTCS email. And Mary Beth, back to your question about Microsoft. You can go in through your email, and up here, are you still showing the screen? Up here in the, click on the little waffle icon. I'm sorry. Over here, you'll click on your picture, which you may not have a picture on here. It may just be your initial. You can go ahead and click on it. And then I think I'm supposed to go to my profile. Yeah. Okay, give me just a second. Gotta get back in there. Okay, you're gonna click on this and go to My Account. And then once you're in My Account, you'll be able to go in under apps and then click Install Office. Now, something to remember, you can only get 5 downloads. So 5 PCs, Mac. We also do cover Macs. You can do it on tablets and on smartphones. More smartphones and tablets are cloud-based anyway, so I probably would not waste an install on those. I would use it more for your PCs or your Macs. But you only get 5, so be very, very selective on those because once they're gone, they're gone. But yeah, it's the full suite. And if you need to use the cloud version, like you're borrowing a computer and don't want to waste one of your downloads, you can use the cloud versions up here in that little waffle icon. When you sign into your email, you'll be able to access Word, Excel, all of it.
Very cool. Okay, so Brittany, you've kind of answered already a couple of my other questions. So is there a limit to how many devices I can download Microsoft Office on? So that answer is 5.
Yep.
And then does Office Suite download on both PC and Mac? And the answer is yes. So that's great. I think that's awesome.
All right. If y'all got time, and I know you do, for a couple of questions, how does OneDrive work?
Okay. We're actually, you know what? I may go ahead and show you that then, since you're asking. OneDrive is you access it from MyPath. You can also access it from the waffle if you're inside your email. But OneDrive, you can just upload files to it. And I'll kind of show you some of my files. But when you're in there, all you do is click upload. You can create a new folder if you want to, if you're trying to organize. You see I have some folders here. And then you can also upload files and folders from your computer. And you can also access this on your laptop. You can access it on your phone if you have the OneDrive app. Very, very user-friendly, very cloud-based, so you never have to worry about holding on to your files. They will go follow you in the cloud.
And that is just so handy. You know, I mean, if you're working from home and then you have to travel and you have your laptop to go with you and you can access those files wherever you are, it's just so handy, OneDrive. It's so great.
All right. Another question, and I think it regards safety. Is there a certain number of students that will be able to attend in-person classes? I'm not sure we can go over all the regulations because there's a lot of them, but I know that there are going to be limited numbers of students. So I'm going to add Kate to our stream here because I'm pretty sure she knows the answers.
I do. Over the summer, we have gone through all of our classes and examined for those 6-foot distances and all of those pieces. And so since the size of our classrooms vary from room to room, there is not a set number of saying there will be 10 students or 12 students. But what we are doing is we are dividing each of the classes in half, such that if there was 24 students originally in the class, we would have 12 coming one day, 12 coming the other. If the classroom that was originally scheduled for that course wasn't large enough, we have actually moved the course to a larger room. So we're going with the 50% capacity for a lot of our classes. For those classes that only meet once a week, or those that meet multiple times a week, we have classes that are going to continue to meet as scheduled. They have been moved into classrooms where social distancing can be maintained.
All right. Something that's always near and dear to students' minds is food. I have a question. Will the cafeterias, are they going to be open this year?
Okay. They are going to be open. It's going to look a little different in terms of the types of foods that they are going to be able to serve. Since it is a restaurant, it will be following the Healthy at Work and the Healthy in Kentucky regulations associated with restaurants. You're going to be asked to keep your masks on unless you're sitting, eating, and then when you are not eating, you put the mask back on. Wanted to back up. Someone asked in terms of some of the regulations. We, as I said, we went through the classrooms and discussed or organized it such that students would be 6 feet apart. But in a classroom setting, it is difficult to maintain that perfect 6 feet. So within classes, students will be asked, or excuse me, students will be required to wear masks.
All right, Kate, here's another question for you. You mentioned that some online courses are learn on demand versus paced learning on a schedule. How can you tell which one your class is before they start?
Okay. The way that you can tell is when you take a look at the course schedule, you'll see a section number. It may be B5Z1 or B5VA, something of that nature. If it has a Z in it, as in zoo, it is a online paced course. If it has a V, as in victory, it is a learn on demand course.
All right. This one we've addressed a little bit, but with the three-pronged learning approach. But it says our in-person classes switched to online.
Okay. Our classes, some on-ground classes, will continue to meet its regular amount of time. Some of our on-ground classes, most of our on-ground classes, are moving to a form of hybrid where you will be coming to campus for fewer days. And then we are also having a few classes that have moved 100% to online.
All right. This question, I believe, Brittany, goes back to OneDrive. The files that you able to access files once you graduate from WKCTC, or do you need to move them?
You will eventually have to move them. Students do lose access to their student email and their OneDrive in about 3 months after classes have ended.
All right. Just another quick food question. Do I pay for my meals with my financial aid or out of pocket?
Out of pocket.
And that's all the questions in the chat right now.
Okay, thank you so much, Tom. So Brittany, we have talked about student email. So let's switch gears just a little bit and we're going to go into student self-service. I think you have kind of a quick reference sheet that you wanted to go over and tell people about.
Right. Okay. So we do have a quick reference sheet available. If you're interested in getting this, we usually have it at the front desk in the Anderson Technical Building. But if you need it before then or just want us to email it to you, just let us know. I think we're going to put the enrollment email, and that way you can email us and let us know that you would like a copy of this sent to you. But it just goes over a little bit of everything that we're going to cover in student self-service, from activating your email, updating your address and phone, because you always want to keep your contact information up to date. so we can get in touch with you when we need to. FERPA, unofficial transcripts, little bit of everything. So if you need this, if you would like to have this, just shoot us an email and we can definitely send you a copy. Sorry.
That's okay. You go ahead, and then I'll ask the questions that
Okay.
have come in.
And I do want to go ahead and show you all the student self-service. You, of course, go to MyPath, and that seems to be the central theme, is always start with MyPath. And you'll go, yours will probably say student self-service. Mine says PeopleSoft Campus Solutions because I'm an employee, but yours will say student self-service. And then once you log in, this is what your screen should look like. So your student center tile, that's going to have things like your consent to release, your emergency contact information, enrollment if you need an enrollment verification for like your insurance company, and that good student discount. And you'll be able to see your unofficial transcripts there too. The profile tile, that is where you're going to be able to see things like your student ID number, your username, what your address and phone number is. All of your contact information is in that profile. And you can click on it and it will allow you to update that information in your profile. Now your name has to be changed by a staff member, because we'll have to have some kind of legal documentation in order to change that in the system. But we can get that changed for you. But everything else, all your other biodemo information, all your contact information can be changed in your student self-service. Tasks are just any holds you have on your account or to-do items. The account balance, that's going to be if you have a bill for the fall semester. It'll show you that. And you'll be able to make a payment or set up a payment plan while you're in there. And then the financial aid. As you can see, I haven't had any financial aid in quite a long time, but you can click on the year, which you would want to do 2021, and be able to see any kind of aid that you have in there. Academic records, that's going to be where you can change your major, view your course eligibility, drop classes or withdraw from classes, and also update your home college if somehow you may have ended up as a Madisonville student and are actually a West Kentucky student. You know, we would definitely ask you to change that. And then of course messages, that's anytime a message has been sent, like your bills will also be sent here. And when you enroll, you get a message here. And then of course, manage classes is the same. You can view your classes here and you can drop your classes. But if you are looking for a schedule, like if you're fixing to go to the bookstore and you need a schedule, or you're fixing to come to class, you really want to go in and click on this KCTCS schedule link right here. That's going to pull you up the class and everything with the location and everything, which mine's online. But yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Brittany. Tom, I'm going to let you ask your questions here in just a second, but before you do that, I'm going to remind everybody that you have a few more minutes to get your questions in. So we are going to extend this stream by 15 minutes. So we've got 15 minutes to go. It's taken a little bit longer to get through some of these questions than we thought. So we do want to extend this just a little bit. So we're going to draw for that gift card at 12:15. So you have 15 more minutes to get those questions in. Give us a like. Let us know that you're here. We appreciate it. And we're going to try to get your questions answered as soon as we can.
Ready to take a few more?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. Where can we find out our GPA and when will summer grades post?
Okay, so GPA, you can see that on your Student Self-Service Center in that first tile, that Student Center tile. You'll be able to go into there and view your grades. Grades will post. That is per class. So, but we should be all in now. So you should be able to see grades now, I believe, now that finals have ended. Because I believe they have 1 week after your final has ended. So if your final has ended, give it up to 1 week, and then it should be posted unless you're getting it incomplete for the semester.
Okay. As a summer instructor, I can tell you that we have until Friday to submit our grades. So.
Thank you, Kate.
Confession is good for the soul. Some of us are behind.
I have Kate back this one, maybe with her, I'm not sure. The CARE grants, is there a limit to the number of times a person can apply for it?
Okay. I do not know. So, but we will take a look at that, and we'll be able to address that next week. We'll add that to our list of questions to have ready. Sorry.
Yes. And I'm going to ask Kathy to put Kara's information into the chat. Kara Burnham, if you guys want to reach out to Kara, she is a great resource and will be able to answer your questions.
All right. How long do I have to wait to find out if I was approved for a student loan?
That might also be a Kara question. So again, Kara had to leave at noon, so she is no longer in the comment section, but we will get her email and her phone number posted in the comments. And actually, as soon as that's posted, I will put that up on the screen and show that to everybody.
All right. I'm in the bookstore looking at books, and some say prices aren't yet available. How do we get the books then online?
So we are actually fixing to talk about the bookstore. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the bookstore. Okay, I'm just reading your question again. Okay, so to get books online, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Thank you. So we're going to go to the current students part of the webpage and then scroll down until we get to the bookstore and click on it. And then for the online bookstore, it gives you a couple of notes down here, just some reminders, which we're going to go over. And I'm sure you all will have questions about them. But you click on that little bitty link to the online bookstore. And then you come up here to textbooks. And you find textbooks. So when you're looking at your schedule, and I wish I had one pulled up. I don't have one as a sample. But when you're looking at your schedule, you want to make sure that the campus listed on your schedule says WKCTC. Because each campus is a little bit different. And, you know, sometimes with us taking online classes, courses may be at a different campus. So if all your courses say WKCTC, you can make sure you put that in as WKCTC and fall 20. And then you can just read off of your schedule. So I have accounting 201, and you're getting all of these pieces of information off of your schedule. Now, if you have another campus, like say you have an Ashland class, you can also add that here. I'm going to add one in. And then you don't have to keep adding, but it's pretty helpful when you do it that way. And then find materials for 2 courses. And then you're going to be able to look and see what books you have available to you for each of your courses. So there's that one course from Ashland, and then there's the course from West Kentucky. Hopefully that helps a little. And if you're using financial aid, you can still charge when you're on here as well. It's part of the checkout process.
That's great. Thank you so much, Brittany. And Tom, before I let you go on, I do want to put a couple things up on the screen. Guys, if any of your questions are in regards to care money or student loans or financial aid in general, Kara is such a great resource and she would be so happy to answer your questions. So I have her email address and her phone number up on the screen right now, and it's also in the chat. You can also text financial aid at this phone number, 270-282-0307. So either one of those, they would love to answer your questions, and those are for your financial aid inquiries.
All right, that's all the questions we have. We are answering some of those in the chat and getting back to students and potential students that way. So we're done with those right now.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tom. So Brittany, I'm going through the questions that we have left. You were on the bookstore and you've answered some of those questions. We've also touched on OneDrive. We've talked about the library, about how the computer labs will be open.
Right.
Let's go into the KCTCS app.
Okay. So the KCTCS app is, we really became popular last year. Really started taking off on users, and we're excited about it. It's got a lot of really good features to it. So I'm going to ask Tom if he could bring up, we're going to show you a video of it, and I'm going to talk you through it. So it's available for iPhone and Android, and you just go into the app, and it's going to take you into this initial screen, and then this is would be your profile. You always want to make sure the My Campus is set to West Kentucky if you're a West Kentucky student, and then student, and then hit update. And so this lets you see your courses, upcoming events, activities that you participated in, calendars. You can also see holds, bursars information. So if you have a bill, you can see that, and you can also see financial aid and to-do items.
Very cool. That KCTCS app is a really, really great resource that I think maybe a lot of people overlook and maybe aren't even sure that it's there. But again, that is available for download on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store.
Right. And you're seeing now, this is the student feed. We want you to get as involved as possible. You can ask questions on the student feed. There are all different types of student feeds. There's the standard student feed, lost and found, news, ask questions, and we also make announcements on the feed. On this page, you'll see courses, email, Blackboard, Starfish, your merit page, which Tammy's going to be talking about here in a minute. You can also complete new student orientation in here. So we have that virtually now as well. There's everything from visual schedule builder. So you can search for classes, visit your MyPath. All of that is linked inside of your KCTCS app. So it's really handy. It keeps everything in one spot for you.
Great. So Tammy, I'm going to segue over to you. I'm going to bring you into the screen, and I'm going to let you just briefly touch on Merit. We do have a couple of minutes left.
All right. Well, Merit is a program that that we use to help students get recognition for all their achievements and successes that they have while they're with us at West Kentucky. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about it. Share my screen here. Tom, if you can put that up there. All right, so here's what Merit looks like. And so before I just show you a little bit more about it, it's when you're here, we show off your greatest successes. And it's a way to showcase your successes with your hometown newspapers. We post it to social media, and the more you share, the more that your successes are shared about all the great things you're doing at West Kentucky. And so you get electronic badges, which is like if you're a new student, if you're a graduate, the dean's list, student organizations, sports, the West Kentucky Stars. So you can see that this is the West Kentucky page. And I'm just going to click right here just to show you a little bit more about this story. This is about 6 students who were inducted into the college's Hispanic Honor Society. And you can see those 6 students, and we use photographs. And gives a little bit about those, how they were inducted into the society. And here's the 6 students that when we wrote the release, that it went to all of these students' hometown newspapers. They all happen to be from most of them from Kentucky, some are from Mayfield and Princeton. We've had students as far away as from California and other states that Merit automatically will populate and send all of that to their hometown newspapers. So if we click on one of our students, I'm going to click on Dylan Richards here. He's one of our graduates, and you can see that Dylan has an individual release that went out to the newspaper on his achievement and tells about the process of being inducted into the Hispanic Honor Society. And each student who accepts their merit page, and the way you accept a merit page is you will get an email in order to accept your page, and then you can make your page. Might take a second. Here's Dylan's page, and you can see that Dylan really personalized his page. Now, Merit, the marketing office, writes stories about students and all their successes, and when we do that, all of these stories, you can see that he went and actually updated and personalized his page, told about himself, told about his likes, and about him personally as well, about his education. He's actually now a student at the University of Kentucky. If he wanted to continue to update his merit page from there, he could do that. Here are all the stories we've written about Dylan, and all of these stories have a merit badge, and I'll show you those in just a second, what those look like, that correspond with these stories written about Dylan. And Dylan has done a lot of things. And the more things you do, the more badges you earned, and the more things that you earn, the more you can be recognized for all the great things that you are doing at the college. Dylan added more things himself about his recognitions, and he also continued to add about his work experience. What is really great about Merit is that it is an electronic resume, that if you were looking for an internship, or maybe a grad school, or employees. My dog's barking, I apologize. My husband's mowing the yard and he wants to be out there. So you can see that he has done all this. Here are the badges. Here are the badges. You can see that Dylan, this is the badge for the Dean's List. When we wrote a story, he was in the Dean's List 4 times. He's been recognized for Phi Theta Kappa 3 times. He was on the West Kentucky Basketball Club. Again, the Honor Society. So you can see all of the wonderful things. And we know from experience that employers, when you are going to apply for a job, they start to look for you online. And what better place when this comes up, when this comes up, that they can see your merit page and see all the great things that you have done. I'm going to actually silence myself now. If you have any questions about it, oh dear.
So those are just like the beauties of working from home, right? So, guys out there who are worried about possibly taking online classes, we've all been working from home for months now. We all understand your pains and your struggles. So, your faculty members, your staff members, everybody is going to understand, and they're all going to be there for you.
So I had a question, is it for full-time students? It's for students who have a KCTCS email, and whether you're full-time or part-time, I believe that you can also participate in Merit, and it is free. If you need any information, we'll put my email in the chat. You can email me about it. I'm so sorry.
So Merit really is, guys, it's kind of like a Facebook page meets a newsroom meets an online resume. And it's just a really cool way for you to showcase the things that you've achieved while you're here on campus. And those things can follow you along the way. So Brittany, I'm going to bring you back into the screen. We have just a couple of minutes. If you want to quickly touch on SNAP. You're muted, Brittany.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So SNAP is our safety notification alert process. It is what we use when there's an immediate threat or maybe inclement weather, something that is going to impact campus being open. So you actually, as students, do not have to sign up for this. When you filled out your admissions application and provided us with your contact information, it is automatically placed into the SNAP system. So you will get these. So if the college needs to close because of an emergency, inclement weather, there's a tornado, something like that, you'll get a SNAP message on your phone, which is usually a text. And then you can also invite other people to opt into this. You can do that by just going onto this website and clicking on sign up to receive notifications here.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much, Brittany. I'm going to bring Kate back onto the screen. So Brittany and Kate, that is really going to conclude what I have as far as content for this program. Do either of you have anything else that you want to tell anybody else who might still be watching?
Okay, I can tell you that West Kentucky Community and Technical College, all the faculty and staff are very excited about August 17th, having you back on campus, having you in our classes, through the hybrid, through online or in person. We are ready for you. We have wonderful safety precautions, procedures set up, and we're very excited to see you.
Yes, yes, very, very excited. And of course, everybody, you still have time to register for fall classes. If you want to schedule an in-person or an online appointment, you will need to contact the advising center. That number and that email address have been in the comments section. So please reach out to the advising center and they would be very happy to schedule an appointment with you. Brittany, anything else before we say goodbye?
Nope, just check your emails.
Okay, guys. So that is going to do it for our segment of Tech Tuesday, or excuse me, Tech Thursday. But before we go, Kathy, do we have a winner for the gift card? I'm watching the chat. I'm watching to see if we've got a winner for that gift card.
And I went ahead and added the link to the hybrid and online classes FAQ.
Perfect.
So if you have any questions in terms of math or anything, it's right on there.
That's fantastic. Okay, so here we go. Drum roll, everybody. Moesha Addison, you are the winner of the $50 gift card. So Moesha, if you're still watching, contact Kathy McHaney. And there's Kathy's email address. It's kathy.mchaney@kctcs.edu. And she will let you know how to go about claiming your gift card. So congratulations, Moesha, and thank you so much for being on the chat with us today. So guys, if you know someone who needs to see this video segment, if they weren't able to watch it, let them know that they can still go back to the WKCTC Facebook page or YouTube channel, and this video will still be there. And you know, if you had to go away or come back and you didn't see this whole program, you can still go back and revisit and rewatch as well. I do want to let everybody know to mark your calendars for next week, August the 11th. At 11 a.m. We are going to be having another WKCTC Live. I think we're going to have Kate back with us, and we're also going to have WKCTC President Dr. Anton Reese and others. They are going to be answering your questions about safety. So the health and safety plan here at WKCTC. And we're going to talk more about how we're going to be delivering those fall classes and accommodating our students. So you don't want to miss that. So I want to thank everybody once again for being with us on this WKCTC Live, and we will